Hi, my name is Bill Schaeffer, and I have another book review. Today's book is Self-Reliance by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Now, strictly speaking, this is not a book, but it's an essay. And it's an essay that I found in a collection, The World's Greatest Thinkers. When I first moved to Los Angeles, I enjoyed perusing the used bookstores that used to flourish in Los Angeles. One in particular, called Acres of Books in Long Beach, was a favorite when I lived in Long Beach. And that is where I got the 4 volumes of the great philosophers for $6. Now, I had a little free time because I was working and no longer going to school, and I discovered Self-Reliance by Ralph Waldo Emerson, and it changed my life. Now, Emerson, along with Thoreau and a few other writers, were known as the Transcendentalist movement of the 1830s. And Emerson was famous as a speaker, and he made his living traveling and speaking on various topics, which must have been quite difficult in the 1830s. The Transcendentalist movement ended around the 1850s with the war against Mexico and the rise of the revivalist movement. Much of Emerson is almost unreadable to me. He writes in a very descriptive, pithy, almost florid style that to my taste is way over the top. However, the essay on self-reliance is a masterpiece of the art of crafting prose in the English language. It seems that almost every third or fifth sentence is a jewel, a short parable that has passed on to the English lexicon as folk wisdom that we do not even recognize the source. Self-Reliance is short, maybe 20 or 30 pages long. It is a fabulous work, and in an age where the individual and the spirit of the individual is continually discounted by the media, to read something like Self-Reliance that is a clarion call for individuality and a clarion call to rely on your own instincts, on your own vision and your own observation, and to always trust in yourself. And it starts like this. I read the other day some verses written by an eminent painter, which were original and not conventional. The soul always hears an admonition in such lines, let the subject be what it may. The sentiment they instill is of more value than any thought they may contain. To believe your own thought, to believe that what is true for you in your own private heart is true for all men, that is genius. Speak your latent conviction, and it shall be the most universal sense. For the inmost in due time becomes the outmost, and our first thought is rendered back to us by the trumpets of the last judgment. And this is just the first half of the first paragraph. And it just gets better from here, in the most beautiful and lofty and inspiring language you can imagine. And here are some of the gems that are just in here. There is a time in every man's education when he arrives at the conviction that envy is ignorance, that imitation is suicide, that he must take himself for better or for worse as his portion. Every paragraph has an inspiring sentence that lingers and reverberates in your thoughts for days after you read the essay. The essay bears repeated reading for months or days or a couple years after you've read it before. In the essay on self-reliance, Ralph Waldo Emerson describes what I consider to be the quintessential American self-made man. Therefore, if you're interested in philosophy of thought, I highly recommend reading the essay on self-reliance by Ralph Waldo Emerson, a great in the history of thought. Thank you, and leave your comments below.